The talk actually is quite involved, and it needs a good, I would say, good hour and a half to really get into it. But if needs be, it can be done for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's doable. Whatever Guru said, the hukum hai, odai honda, te usde vich hi pala. So if this is the way it was intended, then that's good. That's good. Virji have introduced me yesterday. I'm most honoured, Jagjit Singh, that 15 years ago, Guru Sahib gave us the bakshish to start the Khalsa camps in England, and I think that it wouldn't be untrue if we said that they pioneered the template and blueprint for Khalsa camps all over the world. And I am honoured and grateful that those people who came to those camps are now running those camps, and people have progressed. Things have changed a little, and that's good. Maybe 15 years ago, if somebody told me it would be you guys sitting here, I would have probably said, let's not do them. But no, seriously, it's great that to see Sare Guru De Bane Di Vich Agya, Chadi Kala Vich, and very enthusiastic to come to these camps, and that's all good. And my sincere wish would be for all of you to continue in the manner that you have. The Horvi Chadya Kala Vich camp lagao. Today's talk was first put to me as kind of like introducing about Vaheguru, about God, and kind of his existence, and usda God bare janu kraya jaya, and I think that was extremely hard for me anyway, and I thought, no way, I can't prove God, and I can't talk about God in that respect. It's a difficult topic, and so we changed the topic a little bit to Naam and Vaheguru. And so within Naam you've got Simran, Naam, Bani, Kirtan, and so on, according to Gurmat. Before I start, somebody needs to keep tabs on me about time, yeah? And that's if the lights don't go off. One thing is that most important, I would suggest to all of you that in order to learn, there is no point in learning if you don't have humility. Je nimata nahi hai, there is absolutely no point in you becoming a learner. And I would say that goes the same with about Sikhi. Sikh bananda koi mena hi nahi unless thode ch nimata nahi hai. Nimata nahi hai, you don't accept anybody as your teacher. You're not open, your heart is not open, your mind is not open, you're going to remain closed, and apne aap de vich maan karna, you will not learn anything. And that goes for everything, whether you are a student at college doing sciences, medicine, dentistry, whatever. If you don't have that nimarta ke manu, your first step is ke haan manu kuch nahi pata, manu samjhao, let me learn something. You've got to keep your heart open. So first thing is, there's no point in discoursing and having lectures and talking about anything unless if you lack humility. So homme nu tyag ke, hankar nu tyag ke oh manu sab kuch pata, I don't need to come to the lecture, man naam bai sab kuch, I already wake up amrit vela, I already do this, I already do kirtan, I already know the Panchbani, I already know the Nitnem, I'm already a Panchkakari Sikh anyway, manu ki lod hai. This arrogance is your downfall. This arrogance is the downfall of all of us. Jado apne man vich eta hiye na ke sanu pata hai, sanu ki lod hai sikhan di. That is the first step to a downfall in your Sikhi. So when we want to learn, we must learn in humility. Always learn in humility. Dusri gal ke jitna marji aapa galbaat kar liye, we can talk as much as you like. I've been talking. That does not make me a holy man at all. That does not make me a saint. That does not make me a Gursikh. Galli baata vich kakh nahi hai. Except that there is learning, but only those jinhone home tyag kiya. Je home tyag ke learn karna, you might gain something, but talking for the sake of talking will not achieve anything. What will achieve something? Jisa Guru Sahib keh rahe ne, truthful actions, dharmik, sacha dharam kiya, sagal shisht, sar dharam mein shesh dharam, har ko naam jap, nirmal karam, Nirmal karam, good truthful actions are the hallmark of a dharmic man. It's not what I say, but what I do that is important. Yeah? And that's important for all of us. Okay, truthful actions. Sacha dharmi banda banna is not mere talking. The other thing is that instead of trying to define things, there are many people here who could talk about things. Others can't talk about it, but they can feel it. So, jisa Guru Sahib कहते हैं गूंगे की मिठाई. एक बंदा गूंगा, he can't talk, but he can taste the मिठाई. He can't tell you how tasty it is. And there's many of us who taste things, but we don't really taste them. We eat and eat and eat. We don't really relish the taste. So, it is important that I would say that you should rather feel Sikhi rather than be able to define it. So Dr. D might be able to come on a stage and tell you the ins and outs of certain topics, but that's not important. What's important is that you should be able to feel it. Sikhi nu feel karna, and I think that's the hallmark of the Khalsa camps, is to feel the Sikhi, to live the Sikhi way of life for these next few days. So don't worry if you can't define things and you can't work out the meanings of shabads and that. That's not important. It's important that you become and you feel something. So the essence of learning, I would say, for all the lectures and talks and workshops that you will come to at the for the Khalsa camp is Pehla ta hame tyagniya. You get rid of your arrogance. Okay, you know it all. I see many seats empty. Perhaps they're sevadars, perhaps they're doing something, perhaps they think they know it all. And there's always those few who do think that they know it all. And I would suggest to them, please, aapa sare ek platform pe baith ke, jisa Guru Sahib ne Gurmukh baisa safa vishay, te vade chota, this, that, you get rid of all of that arrogance and say, yes, we're all learners, that's why we're Sikhs, seekers. We learn in humility and in simplicity. Keep things simple. Even a murak, an ignorant man can come in and ask you the most difficult question out of ignorance. And that question is usually very hard to answer often. So keep things simple. Jaan ke, don't try to be shrewd and clever. Try to off-put lecturers and other people simply to show your syanap and your cleverness. So, ekta hame tyake, ek simple cheez, simplicity which lake, and then also to have this faith, which is extremely important. And I think if I take the analogy of mountaineers, we're all mountaineers. Yeah, some of us have climbed quite a bit up the mountain of Sikhi, and we're up there a bit. Well, we seem to be up there a bit. Others are struggling behind. We're trying to climb and it's really hard, isn't it? Yeah? How many of you guys feel that this Sikhi mountain is pretty hard to climb so far? Yeah, it's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. And how many of us think that there's many of us around here who are actually quite near the top already? I look at people and I think, shit, they're quite up high there, And that's another thing, a trait of Dr. D, I'm afraid. I do talk the language of you guys, So I'm a doctor as well, and I must say I talk like this to my patients sometimes. जिस तरह का बंदा अंदर गाहक उधर ही बोलना है ना की फायदा ये कोई मेरे नाल ये man you're all this stuff, and I'm sitting there and saying, excuse me sir, what was that, and it just doesn't quite fit. You have to sometimes, I believe, you have to go down to the same level. So I ask your forgiveness, and it's being taped and all that. This is bad, but if I suddenly go out of my thing and start saying some words, you forgive me, right? It's nature, and I'm an East Ender anyway. So we're mountaineers. We're all going to climb the mountain. Some of us know how to climb the mountain pretty good. They're strong guys, and they're fit, and they're climbing. And sometimes you get help from above, they're being pulled up as well. Some of us are being pushed from below, right? Come on, move. Right? Others are helping us with holding our hands. But one thing is for sure, we're all mountaineers. We're all climbing the Sikhi mountain, and it's hard, we all accept it. But one day we'll get there. Everybody who's a mountaineer eventually gets to the peak, eventually. Especially when we've got Guru Sahib helping us. The other thing is, please don't judge. Okay, judge nahi karna kisi nu. You're not here to be judging people here. You're not to judge me as much as I'm not here to judge you. So, aisa nahi karna. The other thing about this topic is, I think jinne bhi bande nu pucho na ke Naam Simran Bare and whatever, and they'll give you their personal experiences. Okay, oh, you know, I was sitting there and light down, yeah, and the room was spinning and this and that. I've tried to refrain from that because we're here to learn from Gurbani what Guru Sahib is saying about Naam. Yeah, personal experiences I would leave to you guys to talk about between yourselves and all that. Maybe je laita na off on, and we have a bit of discussion. People can describe their personal experiences, but I'm trying to keep almost 100% strictly on what the Guru Sahib is saying about Naam. So, as usual, I always delay a little bit at the beginning and like to get myself psyched up in that. So, pehli ta gal hegi hai ke Guru Sahib keh rahe ne, Guru Sahib ke if you, how do you, when you want to know something, yeah, what do you do to refer to it? What would you do? It's quite a simple question. You give it a name. Excellent, right? You give it a name. And then, how can you give something a name? Only, I would suggest that if you can see it, yeah, if you see something, an object, yeah, you say, oh, add a naam rakhiya. Theek hai na? What else can you kind of like give a name to, but you might not be able to see it?
Just feel it.
You can feel it, because for instance you could be standing outside there, close your eyes and everything, you could feel the wind on you. Yeah, you could even close your ears, you could feel the pressure of the wind. Your dari or something would move and you know that there's wind there. Hawa hai kiya. You can see it, you can hear it, you can smell it, you can touch it. Yeah, but all of this is irrelevant to God, because in a way Vaheguru is beyond all of these senses. Yeah, he's agam, he's agochar. O ta pare to para, usnu kis tarah tusi pakdunge, kis tarah tusi kahunge ki oda naam eh hega, o ithe hai. You can't deal with it in the same way. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji Pasha Ji keh rahe ne ke aap hi ne aap sajyo, aap hi ne rachyo. Now, every time you hear the word Naam, I want you to say Vaheguru. Yeah? So every time I say Naam, you have to say Vaheguru. Right? Let's see if we can remember that. So, Naam, okay? Aapi ne aap sajyo. Vaheguru himself made himself. You all knew that because you all know your Mool Mantra hai. Ik Onkar Satnam Karta Purkh. He is Karta Purkh. He is the creator. He created himself. Aapi ne aap sajyo, aapi ne rachyo. Now, he himself created himself, he himself created Naam. As opposed to people who put names to inert objects. So everything is named. Flana Singh, Timkra Singh, Kursi, chair, table, computer. Names given by people. And similarly, all over the world, sari dunya ne Rab nu naam dita. Oh, good. Oh, I wasn't expecting that one. Okay. So, Rab ne, dunya ne Rab nu kise tarike de naal okay, naam dita. Hanji, theek hai. Good. Naam dita. So, Guru Sahib again acknowledges that. The Guru Sahib kande ne kirtan naam kathe teri jeba. Okay, people have given names, people have given names to God according to their own buddhi. And Guru Sahib does not accept that at all as Naam. He says that all of these names, can anybody mention a couple of these names? Ram, Allah, Har, Govind, Narayan. All of these names are Kirtan Naam. Names, you missed that one. Names given by people with their own intelligence to what they think God should be called. But Guru Sahib says, okay, I am not of that school of thought at all. I'm going to call him what he himself has called himself, because apine aap rachyo, apine rachyo now. So Kirtan Naam, Kathe Tere Jeba, but what is important ke Sat Naam Tera Parapurbala. Okay, the true name is above all of this. The true name of God is beyond all of these Kirtan names given by people. None of these man-made names are the real name of God. So God created himself. He himself created his name. God is one, and it makes sense that naam hi ek hai. There can't be do Rab. Ek Rab hai, ek Vaheguru Akal Purkh hai. Te ise tarah oda naam we ek hai. That name, in summary, we can go into in details, was given to Guru Nanak. And Guru Nanak Pasha Ji was enlightened by that. God himself enlightened Guru Nanak about his Naam. And what did Guru Nanak Dev Ji do? He brought this Naam and gave it to, you see how tired we become from, I'm just trying to work a bit of an experiment, I haven't done this before. Every time we say Naam, everybody says Vaheguru. And it becomes, you think it's quite easy, but it's not easy. It becomes kind of like, you wonder to remember to say it. And then often you think that, is it worth saying it? Well, we're going to investigate all of that. So, jada naam hai, oh Akal Purkh ne aap hi banaya. That name, that naam, he gave to Guru Nanak to bring to the Kaljug, to give to all human beings, so that we can be liberated. Guru Sahib Kandane, I think a lot of you, if you know some shabads and you're dying to say something, put your hand up. Guru Sahib Kandane, man mere, oh my mind, Gur Shabdi har paya jai. That it is through the word of the Guru, in other words, Naam, mere man mere, Gur Shabdi har paya jai, bin shabde jag pulda firda. Simple Punjabi, bin shabde, without this name, without the Naam, jag pulda firda, darge mile sajai. That is the bachan of Guru Nanak. Okay, people, the whole world will be punished in the court of God without this true name. You say Guru Nanak, how comes it was just given to Guru Nanak? Well, I'm saying that because, according to Guru Nanak, Satgur Bajo, Guru Nahi Koi. There is only one true Guru. Sabte Vadda, Satguru Nanak. Satguru Bajo, Guru Nahi Koi. There is no other Guru. According to our Gurus and Guru Bani, which is a revealed Bani. This Bani was revealed to Guru Nanak by God. How apo bol na janda, main kya sab hukmao jiyo. Akal Purkh Vaheguru ne aap hi Bani has been revealed to Guru Nanak. He didn't write it himself. Turki Bani ai. Tin sagli chint matai. This Bani came from God himself. So these are the revealed words of God himself. Akal Purkh ne aap kya hai Guru Nanak Pasha ji nu ke he Guru Nanak Pasha, he Guru Nanak, tere tu Satguru hai Kal Yug da, te tere to bina there is no other khalasi. Satguru Bajo gur nahi koi. Koi nigure ka hai, now bura. Okay, that person who does not have you as the Guru, oda naam mila na bura. So, Guru Sahib da hukam, Guru Sahib keh rahe ne ke, what does Guru Sahib say? Okay, just for the sake of this slide, Naam Japo. From first page of the Guru Granth Sahib to the last page of the Guru Granth Sahib, there is only one hukam that is being said over and over again. Naam Japo. Naam Japo. Naam Japo. But what do people say? What do modern Sikhs and modern thinkers who feel that they perhaps can reinvent Sikhism and reinterpret Sikhism according to their own intelligence? Oh, kandene ke all you need, that this might, I'm not sure why this is happening, but black print is coming out all white, but I hope you can see it. That God has no name. Ke Rab da naam koi nahi hega, te jis tarah marji Rab nu pooji jo, it's okay. That's what they say. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ all you need is love, ਸਿਰਫ ਪਿਆਰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, that's all you need. They also say that you can name him anything you like, because all of this is a waste of time. ਬਸ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਧਿਆਈ ਜਾਣਾ, ਬੋਲੀ ਜਾਣਾ. ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੀ ਕਹਾਵਤ ਹੈ, ਬੱਕਰੀ ਮੰਗਣ ਮੂੰਹ ਮਾਰੀ ਜਾਣਾ. ਐਵੇਂ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਐਵੇਂ ਇੱਕ ਲਫ਼ਜ਼ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਧੱਕੇ ਮਾਰੀ ਜਾਣੇ. This is all nonsense, they say. But ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ? ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਹੋਵੇ ਸੋਈ ਭਲਮਾਨ. ਸਿੰਪਲ ਦੇਖੋ, ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਸਿੰਪਲ ਕਈ ਦਫਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, and it makes you quite astonished at Guru Sahib's simplicity. ਹੋਵੇ ਸੋਈ ਭਲਮਾਨ. You can't actually see the, sorry about this, because the prints are coming out white, this is very strange. It says ਹੋਵੇ ਸੋਈ ਭਲਮਾਨ. Whatever happens, accept that as good. ਆਪਣਾ ਤਜ ਅਭਿਮਾਨ. Leave your egotistical pride behind. ਆਪਣਾ ਮਾਨ, ਆਪਣਾ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਰੱਖ. ਜੋ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੋਣ ਦੇ, ਜੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਮੰਨ. ਆਪਣਾ ਈਗੋ, ਆਪਣੀ ਹਉਮੈ ਹੰਕਾਰ ਤਿਆਗ. ਦਿਨ ਰਹਿਣ ਸਦਾ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਓ. ਤੇ ਹੁਕਮ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਦਿਨ ਰਾਤ, not just ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੇਲਾ 2 hours or 1 hour, ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਦਿਨ ਰਹਿਣ ਸਦਾ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਓ. all the time sing the kirtan, sing the bani. ਪੂਰਨ ਇਹੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਕਿ this is the true purpose of why you came into this world. Can you remember a shabad from Rara Sahib that is about purpose of human life? ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ. ਹਾਂਜੀ. ਮਾਨੁਕ ਦੇਵਰਿਆ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਮਿਲਨ ਕੀ, ਇਹ ਤੇਰੀ ਬਰੀਆ ਅਵਰ ਕਾਜ, ਤੇਰੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਾਮ, ਮਿਲ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ, ਭਜ ਕੇਵਲ ਨਾਮ, ਭਜ ਕੇਵਲ ਨਾਮ. So this is the essence of human life. ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਆਨੰਦ ਕਰ ਸੰਤ ਹਰ ਜਾਪ. ਹੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਸੰਤੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਾਮ ਜਪੋ. ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਮਨੁੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ, ਛਾੜ ਸਿਆਣਪ ਬਹੁਤ ਚਤਰਾਈ. ਲੀਵ ਯੋਰ ਕਲੈਵਰਨੈਸ, ਲੀਵ ਦਿਸ ਕਨਿੰਗਨੈਸ that we have in this mind. ਗੁਰ ਕਾ ਜਪ ਮੰਤ ਨਿਰਮਲ. ਉਸ ਦਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਗੁਰਮੰਤਰ ਜੋ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਮੰਤਰ, ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਜਪ. This is what Guru Sahib says to people who deny ਕਿ anything to do with ਨਾਮ ਜਪਨਾ. ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਅੱਗੇ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ? ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਹਰ ਕਾ ਨਾਮ ਦਿਓ ਗੁਰਮੰਤਰ. That the Guru has given this mantra, this actual word, this mantra, this essence of a word. ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਮੰਤਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਨਾਮ. ਤੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ? ਮਿਟੇ ਵਿਸੂਰੇ ਉਤਰੀ ਚਿੰਤ. My anxieties have gone and my worries have gone by doing this Gurmantar. In other places Guru Sahib ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਜਪ ਮੀਤ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਹਮਾਰੇ. In Gurbani there are many instances where the Bani has been joined like Guru Japman Mere or Har Japo Santo and so on. And when the Gurbani is like that, it's a reference to the Gurmantar. Alright, that's a reference to the Gurmantar. It's not saying ke do Har or Ram bolo. ਇੱਥੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈਗਾ in grammatical terms Guru Sahib is saying ਕਿ ਗੁਰਮੰਤਰ ਜਪੋ, ਨਾਮ ਜਪੋ. So ਅਗਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਜਪ ਮੀਤ ਹਮਾਰੇ, ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲ ਹੋਵੇ ਦਰਬਾਰੇ. What will happen? That your faces will be you will go with your face enlightened to the court of God. So as Sikhs ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ? If you truly say okay ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਹਾਂ, and my question is what should we do? It is quite straightforward ਕਿ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਸਤ ਕਰ ਜਾनो गुर सिखो, हर करता आप मोह कढ़ाए. Because God himself is revealing this Bani, whatever the Bani is saying, if you call yourself a Sikh, you should believe it as the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Are we willing to do that? Is my question. As true Sikhs of the Guru, if you call yourself a Sikh, agar tusi is cheez nu manan nu tiyar nahi hai, then I think that the first step has not been taken. You cannot call yourself a Sikh unless सतगुर की बानी सत कर जानो गुर सिखो, हर करता आप मोह कढ़ाए. ते गुरु साहब की कह रहे ने, भज मन मेरे एको नाम. I think I'm repeating things again and again, but the relevance to this is that as you go around the world talking to youngsters and especially apne buzurg and all that, there is not enough emphasis being made in Sikh Panth about Naam. Naam bare कोई भी गल करन तैयार नहीं है। अपने पंथिक लीडर्स नाम नहीं जपते, अपने वड्डे वड्डे स्थानां दे लीडर नाम नहीं जपते। नॉट ओनली दैट बट वो नाम जपन नूं भी हटांदे ने। वो कहंदे की बकरी वांग मुंह मारी जाना, ये तां एवें ही गल है। So, and you think, so I'm having to sort of reiterate something so important, and what I'm saying to you, this is so basic and so fundamental. Look, at every place from page 1 to the last page of Guru Granth Sahib, there is only one hukam that Guru Sahib keeps on saying. Oh, again, Naam Japo, Naam Japo, Naam Japo, Kado Japo, all the time Japo. So Guru Sahib, Pajaman mere, eko naam, ji tere ke aave kaam, that your soul, this is what would be used to your soul. गुरु साहब होर कहते हैं बारंबार बार प्रभ जपी है, पी अमृत यह मन तंत्र पी है. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind, or in should be none of your minds, that Guru Sahib da hukum हैगा नाम जपना, नाम जपना, नाम जपना. So what, why is the question कि नाम क्यों जपी है? This I would like you to offer some quick if you can file some quick things ke what is the use of naam simran. I'll start you off. Tunu shabad ho pata hona chahiye ke jisa shabad hai jas japat pawapada jai, and this shabad is very long shabad. Guru Sahib says jas japat, meaning ke naam jap ke e hunda hai, naam jap ke e hunda hai, so on so on. And before I will start you off ke Guru Sahib kehte naam jap ke your fear and misfortune depart, डर दूर होता है, थोड़ी माइंड बिल्कुल टिकाने आ जाती है. Your suffering will disappear, your ego, your home will go away by doing Naam Simran. Your काम क्रोध लोह मोहंकार will go away. You will start drinking amrit in your heart. Your desires for other things, which is the cause of all pains in our lives, मैं अभी लेना, मैं वो भी लेना, when our desires are not met, we are in pain. Guru Sahib कहते नाम जाप के तो your desires are quenched. In this one shabad देखो कितना Guru Sahib ने कहे, कहने कि when you do Naam Simran, then you go to Vaheguru himself. Millions of our sins and mistakes are erased by doing Naam Simran. You become holy, you become blessed, your mind becomes cool and soothed, all filth is washed away. This is all from the one shabad. He says this is the jewel of Vaheguru, jo naam hai. So Guru Sahib कहने कि that Vaheguru will never abandon you. Guru shall not abandon you. You will get a place in his court. You become at peace. You do not fear death. You do not suffocate in the fire of hell. Guru Sahib कहते all your pains will be rid of. You will not find any, you will not encounter any more difficulties. You will start hearing this Anhad Shabad of Vaheguru Naam, and your kabul full inside will become straightened so that the nectar of Amrit will fall in there. And at the end of this Shabad, Guru Sahib कहते ने कि जिहदी गुरु दी अपार किरपा हो जावे ते उन्हां दे हार्ट दे विच एक गुरमंत्र, whosoever this gurmantar is placed in the heart, Guru Sahib कहते ने कि they become so engulfed with Vaheguru's Simran and happiness that what they want to do is to do Kirtan. And so at the end of all this Shabad, Guru Sahib ने सिटा कढ़िया कि Kirtan बारे कि वो लोग उन्हां दी पहचान किस तरह हैगी है कि ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਪੂਰਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਰਫ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋਰ ਬਾਕੀ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਹੈਗੀ ਕੀਰਤਨ. ਸੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਥੋੜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਿੰਨ ਭੋਜਨ ਚੂਰਾ ਅਖੰਡ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਤਿੰਨ ਭੋਜਨ ਚੂਰਾ ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਜੀ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਪੂਰਾ. That at the end of this Shabad, Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि those people who have this Naam jewel in their heart, they live by doing Kirtan alone 24 hours a day, and Guru Sahib says that they truly have found the true Guru, Satguru Nanak. So there are other Shabads. तुसी आज नितनेम किता. How many of you can give me one or two lines from any of the nitnem telling you कि नाम जप के की होएगा? Good. परिये मत पापा के संग ओह धोपै नावे के रंग. के if you the Shabad is that if you soil your clothes, what you do, you wash them out with soap and water. But if you soil your mind, which all our minds are soiled, how do you wash that? परिये मत पापा के संग ओह धोपै नावे के रंग. By doing Naam Simran, your sins are washed away. Can somebody else give me anything? Hanji. Uchi bolo. That's a reference to Guru Sahib saying कि आके बानी जपो. I'm saying कि नाम जप के की मिलेगा? जिनी नाम ते आया गई मशक्कत का हाल. नानक ते मुख उजले केती छुटी नाल. Not only are they saved, but they carry across their generations and friends along with them. That they save their friends. Now just imagine the burden that you're carrying. This naam simran karna hai na, you're going to be taking all your ancestors and your generations, you're going to save them. That's a burden as well as an opportunity to do something good for them, but it's the barakat of naam. ਹੋਰ ਕੁਝ ਦੱਸੋ? ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਮੈਂ ਪਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਪਾ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ. Amazing, it must be an amazing feeling or I would say avastha जिसने सतगुरु ਨੂੰ पा लिया but नाम सिमरन करके. any others? काल फास्ते ताई हुबारा. एक बार गुरु साहब कहते हैं एक बार just for that one instance मन तन धन दे नाल नाम जपिया होया काल फास्ट you are rid of all your reincarnations. You'll never be born, never die again. Any others from up there? Think about it, Hanji. जित सुनी मन तन हरिया होवे. रसना रसमानी. So our नितनेम तुसी हारो आप सारे नितनेम करते ने. I want you to from the next 5 days ध्यान दे नाल जिथे नाम दा एसेंस है ना. हाँ जी. That's it. लाख लाख गेड़ा आखिए. This is a reference to नाम सिमरन. But we want to know कि सिमरन दी बरकत सिमरन दे नाल की मिलदा. Right, that's right. What about Japji Sahib, I think 6th or 7th body, there's 4 of them together. Suniya, Siddha, Peer, Sur, Nath, Suniya, Tart, Taval, Akash. Look at that barakat. And then there's four bodies of that. Then there's manne ki gat kahi na jaye. Guru Sahib कहने कि गाली छड़ो कि जेरे बंदे नाम नु मन लेने ने. मस्कीन जी कहने होंदे ने कि सुनिया तब मन्ने. He says I accept. People कहने कि तेरे lecture सुनिया जब मैं सुन लेता हाँ I understand. मस्कीन जी कहने कि नहीं. वो कहने कि जिंदगी तुसी मानदे नहीं तुसी सुनिया भी नहीं. If you don't believe it, how can you say you've listened to it? Listening can only be fulfilled if you actually बंदा मान जाए. गुरु साहब कहने कि मनने की गत कहीं ना जाए. कहने कि उन्हें गति ऐसे की बोलिए जिन्होंने नाम नु मान लेता. And then 4 पौड़ियां is about मनने. Yeah, look how much Guru Sahib बरकत दंदे ने कि नाम नु. So I feel ashamed कि मैं ते खड़ के तुम कहा कि नाम दी बरकत नाल की मिलता है. मैं तुम पूछता कि की नहीं मिलता. What is it that you can't achieve by नाम? And I would say okay, if we have a discussion, if the lights don't go off, perhaps we can all discuss our own experiences ke naam de naal milya ki thonu. After all, it's a legal question, justified. Can Jagjeet Singh tu tine saal ho gaye tu Muhammad Shakinu? This guys you were Mona when you took when you came to the Khalsa Camp, है ना? नहीं, फिर जब कोई बंदा तुम पूछे कि और Jagjeet Singh, I'm willing to take Amrit. I won't put you on the spot right now, but you say कि tu why should I do naam simran? तू सारा दिन तू अने सवेरे उठदा ठंडे पानी नाल स्नान करदा है केसी स्नान मैं आराम नाल करदा टीवी देख के ते मनु कोई आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम ते तू सिमरन दा ऑल द टाइम माला फेरदा तनु की मिलदा विचों. वी शुड हैव एन आंसर. साडे कोल आंसर होना चाहिए. जेडे बंदे नाम जपते ने व्हाई डू इट इफ यू डोंट नो व्हाट यू डूइंग. एंड तुसी कन्विंस किनु करोगे इफ यू कांट कन्विंस योर ओन ब्रदर्स के सिमरन दी कोई बरकत है गया मैं क्यों सिमरन करा ते आई वुड से इट्स जस्टिफाइड क्वेश्चन. इफ यू कांट आंसर इट आई वुड सजेस्ट कि आप बानी नु गौज दे नाल पढ़िए सुनिए ते आप ध्यान दे नाल देखिए कि हाँ मैं क्यों नाम जपदा पिया. व्हाट इज दिस नाम सिमरन ऑल दिस. सो गुरु साहब कह रहे ने द अदर थिंग आई वांटेड टू एम्फसाइज वाज कि food is important. Everybody had breakfast today? Huh? Did anyone not eat breakfast today? हाँ जी क्यों नहीं खाते? हाँ वैसे did you eat it yesterday? You don't eat breakfast at all. But you eat food, huh? You eat food, huh? You're not an antyagi. Because there are people who are antyagi, and Guru Sahib कहते छोड़िए अन्न करे पखंड. Alright, पखंड है. We do not believe कि अन्न छड़ना. अन्न छड़ना गुरसिक्खी का काम नहीं है. पर शरीरक तौर पे जब कुछ problem हो whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to go at you, but that's fine. But you can't live without food. As anybody can live without food here? There's nobody here who can live without food and water. ठीक है ना? Every day you eat it, every day you have to eat it again and again and again. तुसी जामन तो ही जब बच्चा पिछो जाता है पहला दूध चुंगन लग जाता है. It's instinctive. He cannot survive without food. Yeah? That's because your body needs nourishment. पर आपने कभी देखी सोचा कि जड़ी अपनी आत्मा which never dies, your body is going to die, but जड़ी आत्मा है here which is never going to die. What about that nourishment? What's happening to that? Yeah, but that's what we understand. But just think about the rest of the world. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਤਮਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਫਿਰਦੀ ਹੈ? ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਸ ਆਤਮਾ ਨੂੰ? So food is as important to the body as spiritual food is as important, if not essential, to the nourishment of the soul. So Guru Sahib, people are funny, you know. ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ? ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਅਕਲ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ. Yeah, that's what people do. ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਅਕਲ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ. I have something that I want to get across, so I bend and twist Bani to fit to my intellect and I put it forward to you. But that is not the way of the Gursikh. ਆਪਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਅਕਲ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲਾਣਾ. Are you with me? Am I confusing you guys? You've got Gurbani, that's our Guru. You want to take Gurbani and not make it follow you, your way. You want to follow the Guru. You want to follow the teacher. That is what is needed. So, apni mat nu, apni intelligence nu, we want to follow Gurbani. So what about thinking about the greatness of God? That's good, isn't it? If somebody could be 24 hours a day, or Rabba Bari Hanji. Nanak Naam Chardi Kala. Yes. So Naam de Nal, a person becomes optimistic and Chardi Kala all the time. And that is all the power of positive. Now, how many people know of people who go to positive classes, positive assertiveness classes and so on and all that? But Guru Sahib said, Naam Japo, you become positive, you become optimistic. So what about thinking about the greatness of God? Isn't that a great state to be in? Yeah, if somebody could think about God all the time, is that Naam Simran? Okay, I'll give you time out now. You don't have to say Vaheguru. Tusi aapne andar karo hun. I believe you ke tusi jage hoye ho. So that's good. Every time मैं नाम बोलूँगा तुसी अंदर अपने हुन नाम जपना है. All right? So अपन हुन बाहर नहीं दिखाना कि अपन नाम जाते हैं, हुन अंदर जपो डट के हैं. So बंदा 24 घंटे सोचे रब बारे. That's a phenomenal thing, isn't it? And people say that कि what is this? I always think about God. What about imagining God? That's pretty cool, isn't it? To imagine about God. What about the thinking of the greatness of God? But what about even thinking about God? Well, unfortunately, none of those is Naam Simran. None of that is equivalent to Naam Japna. Now, there was an equal sign here with a kata in it, but it's in black and it's coming out white on your screen. So none of these are equivalent to Naam Simran. This is not Naam Simran. There is a difference between bandagi karni te bandagi avastha. You can become like that. If you have done enough Naam Simran, you could be one of those lucky people who think about God's greatness all the time. Rabde gun, you think about it. Your mind becomes attuned like that. Je tusi naam jap ke te tusi Rabba bare hamesha dhyan do. That's a great avastha. Te tusi baith ke ekant jagah de vich ja turde firde, if you can imagine God, that's a great avastha. But don't be fooled ke eh hega naam japna. You can sit there and think as much as you like. That is not Naam Japna. Naam Japna is very specific. This is an avastha. This is a state of being that you might achieve if you do Naam Simran. Then people say, okay, what about pyar? Sirf pyar hi cheda? That's all we need is love. All you need is a bit of faith. That's all you need to reach God. Is this Naam Japna? Guru Sahib says no. This is not. because Guru Sahib says कि हाँ प्यार दी लोड़ हैगी है, पर तुसी प्यार किदा पाओगे रब दे नाल? गुरु साहब कहते हैं कि अपना लाया पिरम ना लगी जे लोचा सब कोई. That this loving devotion for God does not just come by your own effort. Now this is Guru Nanak saying this to you. I'm not saying this to you. Guru Nanak is saying कि तुसी जोर ला लो, कोशिश कर लो, जो मर्जी करो, but you are not going to be able to fall in love with God with your own effort. Now that's depressing, isn't it? थोड़ा रास्ता तो आई जाएगी जे गुरु साहब ने अदा किया कि अपना लाया पिरम नहीं लगता. ते गुरु साहब कहते ने क्यों? Because Guru Sahib says कि यह पिरम प्याला खसम का जय पावे तैं दे. That this loving devotion to God only comes to those on whom the Guru does kirpa. So the next question is, okay, if that is the case, then kirpa kirete hondi hai? Because after all, we want to fall in love with God, yeah, so that we can do Naam Simran. Tusi kende apa kende ne ki chalo I'm going to fall in love with God. Guru Sahib says no, you can't do that by yourselves. You need Guru Sahib's kirpa. And then the question is, okay, then how do we get Guru's kirpa? Remember Guru Nanak Dev Ji ne shuru to कहते जो तो प्रेम खिलन का चाहो. There's a ishara matter. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji has said right from the beginning 500 years ago, okay, if you want to fall in love, what do you need to do? Bring your head on your hand and offer it. And the connotation of that means what? What does that mean? You physically, literally take your head off? And no, what does that mean? Ajit, what do you think that means? Ajit? Yeah, but more practically. To get rid of your own self and offer it to the teacher, to Guru. And then 300 years later, Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj actually did it as well, didn't he? He physically showed it as well. You're correct. He actually did cut off people's heads, and these Guru Sikhs did actually show that Jo Guru Nanak Pasha Ji ne mangya si, they were willing to do it. So, who is pleasing to Guru Sahib? So the question was कि जे अपना पिरम नहीं लगता अपने own effort के नाल ते गुरु साहब कहते हैं कि जय भावे ते दे, ते फिर किस तरह, how do we become like that so that Guru Sahib does bakshish on us? Is anybody here who doesn't really want to do Naam Simran? You can be honest about it, no one's going to care anyway. It's up to you. Okay, there's nobody here who says who doesn't want Naam Simran. How many of us actually do this Naam Simran 24 hours? Chaddi kala bakshish avastha 24 घंटे apa naam japde, come what may. Not many of us at all. So I would suggest then we all want that bakshish, na? It's such a कि ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਬਖਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਨ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਸੀ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਈਏ. So how do we achieve it? Guru Sahib ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ again it's in black and it's come out white on there. Guru Sahib ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ those who accept and live by his command, so Sikh sakha bandab hai bhai je gur ke paane vich aave. He alone is a Sikh, a friend, a relative and a sibling who walks in the way of the Guru's will. Jo Guru de hukam ansar chalega o hi manu pyara. Uste hi Guru Sahib fe bakshish karenge. Guru Sahib kehndे ne कि अपने भाने जो चले भाई विछड़ चोटा खावे. कि those so-called Sikhs or people who walk according to their own will and own understandings, they will be separated from Vaheguru and they shall be punished. Chota khave. So then we have people who say कि हाँ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਪਾਂਗੇ पर सज्जन किरपा होगी ਅਸੀਂ ਜਪਾਂਗੇ. है ना? We all say that है कि अमृत वेले नहीं उठते, कहते गुरु कृपा करेगा तो मैं अमृत वेले उठांगा, जब कृपा होगी मैं फिर गुरुद्वारे जावांगा, कृपा होगी. But the plain fact of the matter is, हाँ that is correct, हाँ कृपा होनी चाहिए, but कृपा any time हो जानी by sitting there. You don't just get, how you've had boyfriends, girlfriends and whatever, just by sitting there 20 miles away from each other. कृपा तो नहीं हो जानी. Was that कृपा तो नहीं हो जानी in the sense that you have to do something in order for the other person to commit some love back to you. That's understandable, no? That's understandable. So that in order to gain somebody's love, you need to do something. And what Guru Sahib is saying here is what you need to do is to come under his command, to just do what he is saying. And in that way, you may get the kirpa. So, ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਾਂਗੇ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਹੁਕਮੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਹੈ. We need, a Sikh needs to be a hukmi banda. In other words, a Sikh is a Sikh only if he starts just obeying. It doesn't matter whether you understand it or not, whether you understand the words or whatever. Hukm manna, they're just doing something. Like I said right at the beginning, it's not a matter of how I can define things. That's not important. What is important is that Dr. D karda ke sir boldi janda. It's about what you do. And Guru Sahib says ke hukmi pala banda hoke pala apna farz banao. That is your duty. And then kirpa zarur hovegi. And what is the hukam from page 1 to the last page of Guru Granth Sahib? Is Naam Japo. That is the only essential hukam. So when should we do Naam Simran? Up to this point we've established ke ek hukam hai, right? Guru da hukam hai Naam Japna. It's not this or that. Guru Sahib ne actually hukam dita, and it's not actually even Guru's hukam. Ek Guru da bhi nahi hukam. It is Akal Purkh da hukam. Kyunki Akal Purkh Vaheguru ne hi bani rachai hai. Akal Purkh ne hi Guru Nanak nu bani diti hai, and that the words that we read are actually God's own words. How many of you didn't know that? Because we will talk about this in another lecture later on at the week. I'll show you that each and every single sentence and word written in the Guru Granth Sahib are God's own words. And Guru Nanak has said this throughout the Guru Granth Sahib. I am not saying anything. It is God who is revealing these words to me. So actually, ek Akal Purkh da hukam hai ke Naam Japna. So we have established ke Guru da ek hukam hai, Akal Purkh da hukam Naam Japna. It has been ordained by God through Guru Nanak, and it was given to Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak Pasha jinu e naam dita gaya. Ho kise पैगंबर kise prophet nu e naam nahi dita gaya. Baki jinne bhi naam ne o kirtam naam ne. Kirtam naam made up by human beings to glorify God. And jo apa naam japde ne ek Akal Purkh ne ek naam dita hai. So when should we do Naam Simran? What do you reckon? Yes? Yeah, when waking up? Going to sleep?
Every breath.
Every breath, okay. What about also at the Gurdwara? Yeah, I'm assuming that a lot of people don't breathe, you see. A lot of people don't breathe. So, going to the Gurdwara, going to eat, when you eat something, Hanji. So, when you eat, when starting a new job, these are the things that we are told, isn't it? When we were young, and our parents, our gyanis and katha karak, they say ke bhojan shake lage naam japo, saun lage naam japo, kam hoye pehla shukrana karo, Vaheguru japo. But koi nahi kehda ye jo Veer ji ne kiya ke with every breath, koi nahi kehda. Any gurdwara, any lecturer, they will not say ke ha saas gas japo, 24 घंटे japo, kyunki dimag kharab ho gaya, 24 घंटे japi jo. Uthan is enough, baithna is enough. Going to sleep, Gurdwara, what more do you want? What about sitting exams? How many do Naam Simran when you sit exams? How many of us become really religious, seriously religious? I said, please Vaheguru, please. Only this time, I promise. Only if you give me this job, I promise. Yeah? Yes, you're right. We should do it all of the above. So, when is the best time to do Naam Simran? Again, I'm just going to run through Gurbani de Parman, so that we understand that Guru Sahib ki topic bad dasne. Afterwards, if you've got time, we can talk about it. We're running a little bit late now. We started a little bit late, so ठीक है ना? Okay. So अच्छा. So Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि when is the best time? Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि जे वेला वक्त विचारिए ता कित वेला भगत होई. He says कि if you start talking about कि केड़े वक्त असी जपिए, which time, he says कि then how is this question going to be solved? The best answer, Guru Sahib says, Andin Name Ratya, Sacha Sachi Soy. That one who is attuned to Naam Simran day and night, Andin Name Ratya. That is the correct time. So when Guru Nanak says, okay, the correct time of doing Naam Simran is day and night, so is there any particular time then? Not really, is it? Guru Sahib कहते नाम जपना ते जपो दिन रात. Guru Sahib ये नहीं कहते कि सिर्फ अमृत वेला जपो. तो सिर्फ राती जपो। गुरु साहब कहने कि जे इस चीज बारे क्वेश्चन करना है, जे वेला वक्त विचारिए तो गुरु साहब कहने नाम अनदिन नामे रत्या सच्चे सच्ची सोई। दैट पर्सन हु डज नाम सिमरन डे एंड नाइट, he is truly the true one. And on the opposite way, Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि what if you forget God by not doing Naam Simran? What happens? That is a clever way of asking कि what time should we do Naam Simran? Guru Sahib कहते हैं एक तिल प्यारा विसरे भगत कने ही होए। Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि what kind of Naam Simran, what kind of meditation do you call meditation if you are going to forget Him even for an instance? Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि there is no meditation. There is no such thing as meditation where you are going to forget God even for an instance. So for Guru Sikhs, the Naam Simran is all the time. Because without Naam Simran, life is really not worth anything. How do we serve God? It's another question people ask. If you want to serve your parents, what would you do? You're a young boy, so if your mom and dad wanted you want to do something good for your mom and dad, what would you do? How would you serve them?
I'd not make them happy.
Yeah, how would you make them happy?
Do seva for them.
What kind of seva would you do for them?
Anything they wanted me to do.
Yeah, anything they wanted you to do. What do you think they would like you to do? Okay, he says, okay, become a doctor, he would study for them. What would you do for your parents?
Give them malish.
Malish, yeah, good. Bhajan, malish. He does that. He does malish. How else can you make, what about your employers? You're employed, what would you do for them?
Work very hard for them, yes.
Yeah, he works very hard for them, so he's serving them. But God, you can't see Him, you can't feel Him like that, you can't smell Him, you can't touch His पैर. Has God got पैर? Has Guru Sahib got some जुतियां झाड़ियां उन्होंने गुरु साहब दिया या चोले पर वॉश करिए उन्होंने खिलाइए कुछ उन्हें स्नान कराइए. Guru and God are beyond these things. But Guru Sahib is always saying, oh, you must serve the Lord, oh, you must serve the Lord. So let's ask Guru Nanak Pasha Ji, what does he mean by that? How should we serve the Lord? Guru Sahib कहने के साहिब सेवन अपना पूरे शब्द विचार. Guru Sahib says that those true Guru Sikhs serve Vaheguru by reflecting on the perfect word of the Shabad. Pure Shabad Vichar. In other words, Naam Simran, Naam Japna is serving Vaheguru. Guru Sahib कहते हैं हर की सेवा चाकरी सच्चे शब्द प्यार. By being in love with the true Shabad, Guru Shabad, Naam Simran is the true seva of Vaheguru. So if you really want it, we were talking about how does God and Guru fall in love with you. How do you make him kirpa with you? We talked about je kirpa na hoye tusi naam nahi jap sakde. Aapa kehte okay, we need to be in love. How do we fall in love? Guru Sahib कहने के believe everything I say. Hukmi banda hoke. So सेवा किदा करिए Guru Sahib दी. Guru Sahib कहने do what I tell you to do, and the hukam is still straightforward. नाम जपो. हर की सेवा चाकरी सच्चे शब्द प्यार. So Guru Sahib कहने हर की टहल कमावनी जपिया प्रभु का नाम. If you want to serve the Lord, Guru Sahib कहने in fact I serve the Lord. How? I chant Vaheguru, Vaheguru. I chant the name of Vaheguru. Har ki टहल कमावनी जपिए हर का नाम. So प्रभु का नाम. So this is a way to serve God. So when, how often, and where? Let's have a look what Guru Sahib has to say. Uthat, बैठत, सोवत, त्याग्य, मार्ग, चलत, हरे हर गाइय. All the time, standing up, sitting down, asleep, meditating on the Lord. It must be an amazing avastha. Yeah, it must be an amazing, but we've got to start somewhere. We've got to start even, sitting down and doing it. Apa back, kive nahi karde. Apa khad ke kithe karna. Sanu ekant jagah vich baith ke simran nahi hunda. Assi ta Guru Sahib de samne baith ke vi simran nahi hunda sade kol. So that is our avastha at the moment. No fear, because by the end of 5 days, Jagjit Singh and his team is going to make sure that you have some essence and of feeling of what Naam Simran is like. Because sitting among those who do it, thoda lagi janda. You get that a bit of love from them as well. So Guru Sahib says, Sarvani Sunije Amrit Katha, with your ears, listen. So how many of us are sitting in the lecture, for instance, and not listening? It's quite a few. Because I can't sit in a lecture myself and listen to other people. I just kind of like shut off. I had to repeat my exams a lot in university. Because I'm sitting there but I'm not listening. And that's a common enough avastha for most people. So even when we are sitting in front of the Guru, japa simran karte hain, we're not listening. Jab aap bani padhte hain, we're not listening. How many of us do kirtan and we don't even listen to what we ourselves are saying? We are more listening to the tunes and see ke sare bolde chakde phatte, you know, chane khartala like this, you know. I think my hearing has gone down over the years. You know, the chane khatala in my ear. I can't even hear myself sometimes. I'll close my ear and listen to my voice, and it becomes deafening sometimes. And you wonder, okay, what are you listening to? Ki apa sun rahe hai? Apa chane taple baje ढोलकियां ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸੁਣਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਜਾਏ ਕੁਝ ਸਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜੋ ਮੰਨਿਆ ਜਾਏ ਤੇ and even here practically speaking right now many of you have not listened to some of the things that I've said because you've got your ears. There's no plugs in front of the ears that you can close your ears. They're amazing things. You can close your eyes, close your nose, mouth, but you can't close your ears physically, you know. And so noise is coming through, but our mind is so good at filtering things. Jehdi changi cheez hai we filter out, mari cheez, an experience of that. How many of us can sit in a room, it's Langar Hall or Gurdwara which the Bani is going on, but you can instantly hear somebody saying something about you. Instantly. Chugli ninda kan sun. Ustate ninda kan sun. Rovan te hase. Guru Sahib कहते कि कान इतने क्लेवर ने अपनी माइंड कि असी चुगली निंदा रोवन हासे एकदम ही instantly पकड़ लेंदे हैं. Our system, our wavelengths are so good. पर नाम की वेला पै सोया गुरु साहब कहते हैं कि अपने we are close, we are asleep. So I'm not fooled by the fact that all of you are looking at me because I know half of you possibly are asleep and not listening to a word I'm saying. And that's taken for granted. That's taken for granted. But don't be fooled with Guru because Guru Sahib nu sab kuch pata hai कि कौन जपदा है कौन नहीं जपदा कौन कीर्तन करदा है कौन नहीं करदा. We don't need to show that to other people. I don't need to dress up to show you कि मैं Sikh हैगा. I don't need to sit there with my eyes closed and my hands up in the air like that जिदा मैं बहुत ही चढ़दी कलर Sikh हैगा. I don't need to do that. Guru Sahib is not asking you to do that. But Guru Sahib कहने के मन की बिरथा मन ही जाने. So you yourself know how much you have listened and not listened. But anyway, the hukam is sarvani sunije amrit katha. Ja suni man hoye ananda dukh rog man sagle latha. Listening to it, this is what you get. Guru says that karaj kam bhaat kaaj piche. Even at the beach, guys, even at the beach is written here. While you're at work, while you're on the road and at the beach, Guru Sahib says ke naam japanto na hato. So Sikh kaun hai asli maine de vich. Guru Sahib, you all know this shabad. Sare jap diya. You can all read it with me. Gur Satgur ka jo Sikh hai so palke ut uttam kare palke parvati. So Sikh ohi hai jehda amrit wale ut ke ishnan karke naam japega. That is a Sikh. It's a hukam of Guru Amar Das ji, Guru Ram Das ji. So then Guru Sahib says upadesh Guru har jap jape. मतलब गुरु मंत्र जपेगा जो गुरु दा उपदेश है नाम जपे सब किलविक पाप दोख ले जावे. All his sins shall be washed away. Probably the most important thing for most of us would be okay, if I do Naam Simran all your sins will be washed away. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, if you could do Naam Simran and get rid of all the bad things you've done, that's an easy way out of things, isn't it? Yeah, to be forgiven. Guru Sahib कहने किलविक पाप दोख ले जावे फिर चढ़े दिवस गुरबानी गावे बहंदे होते. So Chade Divis Gurbani Gawe means what? Quickly, quickly, time is short, really short. Hanji.
After the starting of the day, you should start the Nitne.
Yeah, so when the daylight comes up and dawn is up, what you should do? Read his Bani, which is why we do Nitne. Fir Chade Divis Gurbani Gawe, Kirtan Karo, Bandya, Utsya, her Naam Tyave, sitting, standing, Naam Japo. Then Guru Sahib says, Jo Saas, Giras, Tyaye Mera, Har Har. So Gursikh, Guru, so Gursikh, very important. Ke Jera Sikh, Saas Giras Naam Japega. O Guru nu Panda. O Guru likes that Gursikh, Jera Saas Giras, who repeats the Naam with every breath. Jisnu Diyal Hoye Mera Swami. And on whom Guru has grace. Jisne upar Guru Sahib Diyal ho jave, this Gursikh Guru Upadesh Sunave. Us Gursikh nu fe Guru aap sadke na unu Guru Mantra danda, unu Naam जपांदा जब नानक धूड़ मंगे तिस गुरसिख की जो आप जपे avra naam japawe. This doesn't mean that you go around preaching to people what the Gurmantar is and giving it to them like the Radha Swamis and Namtaris. What this means is that you encourage other Sikhs and non-Sikhs to come to the Guru, and it is the Guru's purpose to do his duty, which is Naam da Data. So Guru Sahib says, so Naam Japna, you would say, is it meditation? Well, I think that I've shown you just by thinking, you cannot call that meditation according to Gurmat, because sochna hovi. Je sochi, lakhwar tusi sochi jao sitting in meditation, so-called modern meditation. Guru Sahib says that is not Naam Japna. Guru Sahib says you could be as clever as you like. Sahas Syanpa, lakh hove, ta ik na chale na. Not one of your cleverness is going to go forward. Nanak vin nave aludia jiti hor khyat. All thoughts except for Naam Simran are absolutely useless. So the question is, okay, how should we do it now? Okay, we agreed that Naam Japna Chahida, right? We've agreed on that. But how should we do Naam Simran? The Guru Sahib keh rahe ne, sarvani suniye, rasana gaiye, hirday tyaiye soi. You don't need to go to any Sant Mahant Sadhu to ask कि नाम किदा जपना है. Guru Sahib is being very clear here. Guru Sahib कह रहे हैं, what does Guru Sahib say? I'm going to pick on you because you're in the front. But what he says, Sarvani Suniya. Sarvani means come. To do Naam Simran, you must listen. Yeah,
Listen.
Yeah. First thing is to listen. तो फिर की रसना गाइए. रसना. Anybody know rasna? Tongue. Guru Sahib कहते कि अपनी जीभ दे नाल. How many of us have been told by some people कि ओ मुंह ना लाओ, आधा बैठे रहो, हाथ आधा जोड़ लो, एक पासे अम्ब रख लो, एक पासे नींबू रख लो, एप्पल रख लो. Seriously, केनिया कैंप दे विच गया, बड़ा सारा एक आर्टिकल उन्होंने आपने छापिया. ते I won't say who's written it. It's a very prominent Sikh in Australia. ते वो कहते कि एक पासे नींबू रखो, lemon. Squeeze the lemon into the pani, पहला पानी पियो नींबू वाला निचोड़ के, ते फिर आधा बैठो, फिर आधा हाथ रखो, ते फिर जपो. All this kind of BS. Guru Sahib is being very clear here. Guru Sahib says no ambu. Did I say ambu? Okay. Amba, nimbu, all of these things. This has nothing to do with Gursikhi. This may be your personal thing. You might like amba and nimbu next to you. That's all right. I have no problem with your ambs and nimbus, right? But Guru Sahib नहीं कह रहे. Guru Sahib नहीं कह रहे कि तुसी आम या नींबू कोल रखो. Guru Sahib करने कि अपने कान which are closer than all of this. तुसी कान दे नाल सुनना, जीभ दे नाल बोलना, ते अपने दिल दे विच, हिरदे दे विच उसनु वसाना. Okay, is that absolutely clear? Okay, this is how to do Naam Simran. ते so technique किस तरह हैगी है? Now I'll go through this very quickly. Before we go into the technique of Naam Simran, it is clear कि किस तरह करना है. रसना ना जपना है, कान देना सुना है, हृदय च वसना है. That's the end of the story, really, practically speaking. बाकी essential features, according to Gurbani दे विचों जो मैंने थोड़ा ऐसा मिला कि एक ता तांग होनी चाहिए. You must have a longing to do it. Otherwise, it really won't work. There are many people who do it, but जिन्ना दे विचों एक चीज़ां miss हो रही ने. I think they will have to put their hand on their heart and say कि हाँ कुछ गल नहीं बन रही. Something is missing. एक ता तांग, a longing, preet, devotion, प्यार, and respect, power. These four things are essential. एक शब्द गुरु नानक पातशाह जी का शब्द है भांडा धोए बैस धूप देवो तो दूधे को जावो. Guru Sahib says like a vessel. You are a vessel, like a panda. Yeah, bucket or whatever, it's got handles. Guru Sahib says that in order to put milk in it and to make dahi from it, in order to achieve that, what do you need to do? First of all, he says कि अपने vessel nu धोवो, wash your vessel, make it clean, put fragrance there. भांडा धोए बैस धूप देवो तो दूधे को जावो. दूध कर्म फुन सुट समायन होए निराश जमावो. Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि make milk good deeds and actions. So जप निर्मल कर्म, सगल धर्म में श्रेष्ठ धर्म, सब तो ऊंचा धर्म केड़ा धर्म है? har ko naam jap nirmal karam. Nirmal karam are important, good deeds. So make milk the good deeds, your good actions. Put the rennet that you put into that to make the curd, clear consciousness. Clear consciousness. Dubda vich na hoye. Clear hoye consciousness. And free of desires. Hoye niras jamavo. Apne desires nu pare rakho. Guru Sahib, I'll do your nitnem. I'm going to do nitnem today for a whole week because I've got exam 2 weeks time. Yeah, this is like having desirous thoughts and then you're trying to achieve something that is really not going to be achievable. Guru Sahib कहने कि अपनी body nu wash करो, mind nu wash करो, अपने भांडे nu clean करो by doing good actions. Put clear consciousness and then free of desires. फिर की जपो ता एको नामा. एक नाम nu जपो ta eko nama avar nirafal kama, because everything else is useless. Then Guru Sahib कहने कि जेरे vessel दे handle है ना, वो handle nu फड़ के तुसी churn करो. You know what churning means? When you mix the milk to make the curd, right? In India ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਸ ਕੱਢਦੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਮਦਾਨੀ, ਹਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ. So Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि make your mind the handles, and we're holding on to that, churn the thing without sleeping. Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि हाथ करो फिर नेत्रों नींद ना आवे. Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि इस तरह फिर मदानी मंगन तुसी रिड़को, and then churn it, and without sleeping तुसी नाम जपी जो रसना नाम जपो तब मथी है. Chant with the tongue again के जीभ दे नाल. So forget about the बैठना के जीभ ना हलाओ. कौन कहने जीभ ना हलाओ? गुरु साहब कहते कि रसना जपो तनाम तिल कर कटी है कि एक दो जीवो लख होए लख 20. Guru Sahib कहते कि उस tongue nu I want to cut it into million pieces so that my tongue can recite Naam. And we've been told, oh rasna, or don't move your tongue, or don't move your lips, or don't make your eyes flicker, put your head in 20 degrees, put your hands out and put a nimbu and Naam on one side. किथे लिखा है? कौन कहता? So Guru Sahib नहीं कह रहे. Guru Sahib कह रहे ने कि अपने रसना दे नाल जपो ता सी ते ओनु रिड़की दा जब बंदा रिड़कदा है when Guru Sikhs do this, ओ रिड़कदे ने, they are churning this Naam in their mind. They're holding their mind and they're churning it. Hopefully they're doing it with their mind, not just showing it. So Guru Sahib कहने कि then wash this mind in a pool of truth. सच्चाई दे विच धोता जाए. Then offer this vessel to Vaheguru. फिर तुसी ये वाहिगुरु नु मन सब पर जित सत सरनावन पावन पाती तृप्त करे. सो इस तरह वैसल बनाया जाए ते नाम सिमरन हो सकता है. Because without this devotion, faith and love and respect for all of this, what is going to happen to us? Guru Sahib कहने के क्या जप, क्या तप, क्या व्रत पूजा, जाके हृदय पाओ है दूजा. What use is it for doing all this jap and this penance and fasting and all this worship if in your heart you don't have this pyar for Vaheguru and Guru? What use is it? Guru Sahib कहने कि क्या जप, क्या तप, संजमो, क्या व्रत, क्या स्नान. What good is chanting and this penance and self-mortification? What good are these fasting and cleaning baths and pilgrimages? जब लग जुगत ना जानिए पाहो भगत भगवान. Unless you know the way to worship Vaheguru with loving devotion, प्यार दे नाल, not हंकार दे नाल, not arrogance दे नाल कि मैं जप रहा, मैं उठ रहा, मैं this and that. That is not important in Naam Simran. That is detrimental to Naam Simran. So how do we attain this loving devotion? Guru Sahib कहते हैं साध संगत बिना पाव नहीं उपजै, पाव बिन भगत नहीं होई तेरी. That let it be no mistake to you that without coming to the company of Sad Sangat to bina, you will not achieve this loving devotion. So if you think that you can get away with it by not meeting other Guru Sikhs, Guru Sahib कहते हैं कि नाम नहीं जप होना. नाम उदों ही जप होएगा जब तुसी साध संगत करोगे, क्योंकि साध संगत विच ही वो प्यार पैदा होएगा and that loving devotion. So we've got, that should have been in black, you can't see it jumping there. I'll do it again. Just about. You saw the tongue up there, didn't you? Look. There. Okay. So that's a rasna naam japri paya. Right? Rasna de naam japna, ਦਿਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਪਣਾ ਤੇ as you all know here ਸਾਸ ਗਿਰਾਸ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਣਾ with the breath ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਅੰਤਰ ਗੁਰ ਆਰਾਧਨਾ ਜੇਵਾ ਜਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਮ that's in the Rara Sabda part ਕਿ ਜੀਭ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਪਣਾ is very important ਇੱਕ ਦੂ ਜੀਵੋ ਲੱਖ ਹੋਵੇ ਲੱਖ 20 ਲੱਖ ਲਗੇੜਾ ਆਖੀਏ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਮ ਜਗਦੀਸ਼ so how can it be done continuously is it possible we've already established ਕਿ ਸਾਸ ਗਿਰਾਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਹੇ ਸਾਹੇ ਤੁਝ ਸੰਭਲਾ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਵਿਸਾਰੂ ਸਾਸ ਸਿਮਰੋ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੋ ਸਾਸ ਗਿਰਾਸ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਹਰ ਸੋ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਨ ਭਾਵੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਾਸ ਗਿਰਾਸ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦਾ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਲਾਈਕ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ so naam what is gurmantar naam is gurmantar what is gurmantar vaheguru can you quote me one person apart from the gurbani who has categorically stated that vaheguru is the gurmantar hanji Bhai Gurdas ji who was Bhai Gurdas ji hanji he was a brahmgyani he had attained the avastha of reaching God but who was he Guru Arjan Dev Ji de ki lagde san hanji mama ji his uncle yeah Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pasha ji de mama ji lagde san and he compiled he wrote the hanji the Aad Granth the runner up to the Guru Granth Sahib in essence the Guru Granth Sahib so Bhai Gurdas Ji wrote that Bhai Gurdas Ji keh rahe ne Vaheguru Gurmantar hai jap home koi I was horrified to read an article on the internet a few months ago written by probably quite well-known Gursikhs I think in England and the article was about ke Vaheguru Gurmantar nahi hai te ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ establish ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਗੁਰਮਤ ਨਾਮ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਗੁਰਮੰਤਰ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰਮੰਤਰ ਤਾਂ ਐਵੇਂ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਗੁਰਮਤ ਨਾਮ something don't know what is superior to ਗੁਰਮੰਤਰ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਜਪਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ ਸਾਧੂ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਆਰਟੀਕਲ ਦੇ ਅਗੇਂਸਟ ਮੈਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਜੇ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਚਰਚਾ ਤੇ ਕਰੋ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਖੋਲ ਕੇ ਕਰੋ ਚਰਚਾ ਮੈਂ ਨਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਕੌਣ ਹੈ but I was horrified for one thing because those people came to the Khalsa camps ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ 100% ਗਲਤ ਹੈ and they go about learning these things from false sants and mahants and sadhu sants deities and so on ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੇ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੇ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਮੀਟਰ ਲਗਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਚੈੱਕ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕਿ ਉਹਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਬੜਾ ਚੜ੍ਹਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਚ ਹੈਗਾ do you realize that you know Bhai Gurdas Ji never gave the Gurmantar or Vaheguru Gurmantar to any Sikh Baba Buddha Ji was from Guru Nanak Dev Ji ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ to Guru Har Gobind Sahib ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ Baba kohaya in terms of ke main mahant hai sant hai never did he establish himself as the giver of naam Guru is the giver of naam I'm going to skip this very quickly because I know time is very very short and you want to ask some questions har jap mant I want to quote some Gurbani to prove to you ke Gurmantar is the naam japna is Gurmantar nu japna Guru Sahib Bani ch keh rahe ne har jap ki japiye mant gur ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਲੈ ਜਾਪੋ ਜੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਜੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਹੈਜ਼ ਗਿਵਨ ਯੂ ਦ ਮੰਤਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜਪੋ ਤਿੰਨ ਅੰਤ ਛੜਾਏ ਜਿਨ ਹਕੀਕਤ ਚਿਤਾਸਾ ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਅੰਦਿਨ ਨਾਮ ਜਪੋ ਹਰ ਸੰਤੋ ਇਹ ਛੂਟਨ ਕਾ ਸਾਚਾ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਸਾ ਕਿ ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਦੀ ਓਨਲੀ ਵੇ ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਗੈਟ ਲਿਬਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਗੁਰ ਮੰਤਰ ਚਿਤਾ ਕੈਨ ਇਟ ਬੀ ਐਨੀ ਮੋਰ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਦੈਨ ਦੈਟ if I was to say to you ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਤੂੰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਜਾਪ ਕਰ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਤੂੰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਜਾਪ ਕਰ ਲੈ ਤੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਨਾਮ ਜਪੀ ਜਾ that's okay but ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ what the guru is saying ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਗੁਰ ਮੰਤਰ ਚਿਤਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਮੰਤਰ ਨੂੰ ਜਪੋ that is ਨਾਮ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਸੁਖ ਪਾਵੇ ਸਾਚੇ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਪਾਪੜਿਆ ਪਛਾੜ ਬਾਣ ਸਚਾਵਾ ਸਨ ਕਹਿ take the arrow of truth and shoot down the sin ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ how do you shoot down the sin ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਗੁਰ ਮੰਤਰਾ ਚਿਤਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੁੱਖ ਨਾ ਥੀਵੀ so gur mantar japna is naam japna naam japna is to repeat the gur mantar what is gur mantar Vaheguru te gur mantar kitho milda hai we were going to talk about that now you can't see it here but there's a word written guru gur on that side and gur to guru ਗੁਰ ਮੰਤਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੋਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਮੰਤਰ ਤੇ ਦੂਸਰੀ ਸਾਈਡ ਤੇ ਮੰਤਰ is ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਰੂਪ ਉਹ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਰੂਪ meaning ਕਿ ਉਹ ਮੰਤਰ ਐਸੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਸਦਾ ਲਈ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਦਾ ਚਿਰ ਜੀਵੋ ਉਸ ਮੰਤਰ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਇਹੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ it is so powerful, it is God itself. If God could come to earth and show himself, Guru Sahib कहने it is Guru Mantra. So ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਦੀ ਹੋਂਦ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਇਸ ਗੁਰ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਿਹਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ Guru Nanak Pasha has been given this. When was he given this? When he disappeared for 3 days? He disappeared for 3 days. Where did he go? Haji. Where did he go? Shopping? Did he drown?
Everybody thought that he drowned and died, but he really went to Babaji and got a message from him and said, and so
That's right. He went to Vaheguru, and then Vaheguru spoke to him for 3 days. Guru Nanak Pasha disappeared, and I think you will talk about this perhaps later on in other lectures. So this Guru Mantra, jo Guru Roop, Amrit Roop hai, it is only through the true Guru, because aapa sare jante ne ek onkar, Satnam, Karta Purkh, Nirpau, Nirvair, Akal Murt, Ajuni, Saibhang, Gur Prasad, Guru di Kirpa Dwara ki Jap. So it is only through the Guru's kirpa that you can get this. Gurpure ki pau sarnai, moh sog sab param mitai, eko mantar dirai aukhat sach naam rid gaina. That Guru Patsha, he gives the Guru Mantra. If you come to him, Guru ki kada Guru Mantra danda. Eko mantar dirai, do mantar nahi danda. How can it be ke ek bande ek paase satnam jaap kari jande ne? Yeah, there's a whole lot of people who just sit there and do Satnam, it's fine. It's better than saying something else. But Guru Sahib ne do mantra nahi dete. Guru Sahib has not ordained Naam Simran with different mantras. The whole Bani is like a mantra. Don't get me wrong. The whole Bani is like a mantra, but Guru Mantra is Naam Japna. And Guru Mantra is Vaheguru, which has been ordained by God himself. The Guru Sahib karne eko mantra dirai aukhat, sach naam rid gaina. So, Satgur Data har naam ka. I don't see some Baba Data naam ka. I don't see koi Dera Baba naam da. I don't see koi Radha Swami naam da. Or Namtari naam da. Or Darshan Dasya naam da. There is no Babas, no Mahants, no Sants that can give naam, no matter who you are. Baba Buddha ji didn't do it. Pai Gudas ji didn't do it. Pai Mani Singh ji didn't do it. No Gursikh from 500 years at the time of Guru Sahib's living memory gave the mantra to any Sikh, because that duty is alone given to God, given to Guru Nanak by God himself. Bin Gur naam na paya jaye, sid sadak rahe billahi. It cannot be achieved. And then you say, oh, but everybody is doing Naam Simran. Sare bande japde pe ne, and they haven't even got the Naam from the Guru. So what happens to them? Guru Sahib कहने ने कि Ram Ram सबको कहे. Even during that time, there were hundreds of people who were doing apparently Simran and Naam Japdesi. But Guru Sahib कहने कि just by doing it, you're not going to achieve anything until Gur Prasadi Ram Man Vasai. Ta fal pave koi. It is clear. When Guru Sahib says ta, only then, if you take the Naam from the Guru and then do Naam Simran, you will reap the rewards of that Naam Simran. That doesn't stop people from doing Naam Simran. मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ तुसी नाम ना जपो कोई तुम्हें नाम नहीं हजे मिलिया. पर Guru Sahib is saying something very clear here कि जितना चिर तुसी गुरु कोलो नाम नहीं लंदे, उना तक वो rewards नहीं मिलनगे उस नाम दा. It is like monopoly money. You can have checks written by to any amount, but if the banker's stamp is not on that check, it is worthless. It is still a check. Check तो है क्या? But it's not worth. हाँ जी.
Like studying, high study, but you're not going to the college, university, you're not getting the certificate from there. You got the knowledge, but you haven't got the authority. No one's there to say they have studied this and that, and we are helping, or we will give the certificate, give them the job or something,
Yeah, so, fine, you may even study, there's plenty of people who, for instance, study homeopathy and osteopathy at home. They study and they're pretty good, but until you get that certificate ordained by the college, right? It is not worth the while what you have studied. So, you can't sit on here, but from Guru Nanak Dev Ji to leke Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji tak, the way the Guru Mantra was given was by Charan Pahal. Anybody who's not an Amritari here know what Charan Pahal is. You've only got 2 more minutes and I'm going to stop. Charan Pahal. How was the Naam given? And I said Charan Pahal Denal. What does that mean? Haji. Yeah, when people became Sikhs from Guru Nanak to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the Sikh used to come, Baba Buddha Ji and Bhai Gurdas Ji and other Guru Sikhs used to bring these Sikhs to the Kartarpur Sahib, Govindwal Sahib, Amritsar Sahib, Ramdaspur, and the Sikhs used to come in from the Guru, and the Guru used to dip his foot into Sarvlo de Bate de vich, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਆਪ ਉਸ ਆਪਣੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਪਾਣੀ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚਰਨ ਪਾਲ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ. They used to take that amrit from Guru Sahib, and then at that time Guru Sahib used to give them the Naam, and then used to tell them कि ये नाम है, this is what Sikh does, and so on. But Guru Gobind Singh Ji changed all of that for obvious reasons, because after Guru Sahib there were no Detari Gurus. And Guru Sahib, Gurbani which aap kehndे ne, look what Gurbani is saying, Gurudware nau paiye, bin Satgur palle na paye. It is simple Punjabi, I'm not making it up. Guru Sahib kehndे ki through the Guru's door you will achieve Naam. Without the true Guru you cannot achieve or reap the rewards of the Naam Simran. It is clear, I'm not saying it, Guru Sahib is saying it. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji changed the ritual of Naam giving Gurdikya to give Gur Shabad by doing it Khande Paul the Amrit. So nowadays when the Panch Pyare in Guru's Roop make the Amrit, they then give the Amrit to make them Sikh, and then they tell them what the Gur Mantra is officially. So the Guru, they do that through the Guru's Bakshish, that the Gur Mantra is imparted in the Sikh. What about the non-believers? The Guru Sahib ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ these are some of the things that Guru Sahib said. Murkha sir murkh hai je manne nahi nao. The most foolish of the foolish are those who do not believe in the Naam. Gur mantar heenas jo prani. Those people who have not got the Guru's mantar from the Guru. What is their state of life? Guru Sahib says, Gur mantar heenas jo prani Triganta Janam Prishtane. Their lives are cursed and contaminated. They are blockheads, just like a dog, a pig, a jackass, a crow, and a snake. These are the words that Guru Sahib has used in the Gurbani to define those who do not come to the Guru and take Naam. What about the rest of the world, you would say? Now, I will do, there's more talks coming up about the uniqueness of Sikhi and how we are different from the rest of the world. And I like this, I'm going to do it again. And we will discuss this in no uncertain terms, again through the Guru Shabad. What is Guru Sahib actually saying about this? And I'm just going to finish off by quoting what Guru Sahib is saying. Guru Amar Das Ji, Maya Mamta Mohani Jin Vin Danta Jag Khaya. You can't read the English translation on that because it's been wiped out. But it says that the whole world is engrossed in Maya, this illusion of the reality of world. And it is like I suppose dentures, teeth that have eaten up the world. This is what the whole world has been eaten up by this illusion, Maya. Manmukh khade gurmukh ubre. The manmukhs who don't come to the Guru are going to be eaten away, but the gurmukhs are saved because they focus their consciousness on the true Naam. Bin nave jag kamla fire. Gurmukh nadri aya. Without Naam, the whole world wanders around insane. Insane is the word. Pagan. Kamla fire. The Gurmukhs know this. Tanda kartya nafal janam gavaya. The whole world has wandered around doing their things, but they have wasted their lives in vain. The peace-giving Lord does not come to abide in their minds. Sukh data manna vasaya, Nanak, Naam tina ko milya. Naam has come to only those on whom the Guru has done his apar kirpa. And I was going to touch on, I'm going to stop here because I think we should open up a bit of discussion. And there was going to be that Bani actually is a roop of Naam. Bani jo hagiya, it is the essence of Naam as well. That is why good Sikhs do a lot of Bani. They read Bani and they sing Bani through Kirtan. And ye jo Bani hagiya, it is Paras Kala. Paras is a philosopher's stone. Has everybody heard the word philosopher's stone? How many of you have watched Harry Potter? Yeah? Harry Potter. Philosopher's stone. A philosopher's stone can turn iron into gold. And Guru Sahib says that Bani vi Paras Kala. I would say, what can affect us? Can wind affect us? Our moods and lives? Yeah, it can affect your state of health. Kisne banda kehte hawa lag jayegi and andar rakh, hai na? Banda bimar ho jayega. Kaiyan nu hawa lag jaye na te kharab ho janda kam. So hawa can affect you. What about the sun? The heat. That can affect you. What about the moon? Can the moon affect you? Yeah, well, the moon can affect the whole of earth. The waves come in, the tide comes in and out. They say the moon affects people's moods. Yeah, all the women are excusing their behaviors because of the moon. Yeah, they say we've got bad mood because it was full moon, so you can forgive me. So the moon can affect you. What about food?
Yeah, it can.
Food can affect you in a very bad way, good way. If all of these things can affect people, why can't Bani? Bani can affect you. You can agree that Bani possibly could affect you. So Guru Sahib kehte ke jo prani gobind tya. You say, but I don't understand Bani. So how can that affect me? Well, you don't need to understand how the moon works to affect you. You don't have to understand biology to let food affect you or the wind. So Bani is Paras Kala, Gur Paras Ham Log. Guru Sahib kehte ke Guru Bani is Paras. What happens is that when somebody comes in close contact with Bani, right, what happens is that you are transformed. You are transformed. And Guru Sahib kehte ne ke jo prani gobind tyaye padya anpadya param gatpaye. Guru Sahib says, don't worry. If you don't understand Bani, don't worry. He says, as long as you read it, or even if you don't read it, if you listen to it, if you sing with it, if you listen to the singing, param gatpai, you will achieve the rewards of Bani, because Bani is for the whole world. Karam taram pakhan jyoti se tin jam jagati lute shabad haga sudar vas cho upadesh cho varne ko sanja. That this upadesh is open to the four corners of the world. Everybody can take something from Bani, because Bani is Paras Kala. Those people who listen to Bani, sing it, and are near the Gur Sikhs and Gur Shabad, Gur Granth Sahib, their lives will be transformed. But ultimately, people will need to come to the Guru to take the Naam so that their lives can be fulfilled. Itna hi pulchuk dikhima bakshni. I'm rushing it through, so I'm very sorry about that. Thank you for being very patient. I would ask Jigit Singh Kamajit to come to the front if you want to open up or whatever. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.